Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of On the Gamely. Much conversation.
Such bad.
Wow. And we're here to talk about video games and annoy you with memes, apparently. Because that's what we do. Oh, by the way, I am your host, Tyler. And this is my co-host / stalker, Jacob. And we come at you from GameSepticon.blogspot.ca.
Well, you
It is .ca. Well, you're supposed to write, but you don't. But anyway, so what we do here is we talk about video games, the issues of the past week and whatnot, and sometimes some general stuff. It's all video game talk anyway. And this is a long intro too.
To be honest, you're the only one that knows everything.
I know everything, and I'm in my host coat, so that makes me more important. So, let's get on to our conversation as soon as my phone stops being a douchebag, so I know what conversations we gotta have.
We're still prepared. Don't worry.
We are prepared. All right. So our first topic of the day or the night, whatever, is the Final Fantasy X and X2 HD remake for PS3 coming in March of 2014. That's next year. What do you think about it?
I'm happy. That's I don't know how to put it any other way. It's like the game that's near dear to my heart.
Which one, X or X2?
X.
Yeah, I see.
X2. It's still good, and the battle system is. I'm pretty sure. Like, I owned it, and I think it was a bit better, but obviously it was just some way to get money. I think X was the really good one. But I mean, Yuna was my crush.
Yeah, yeah, you just admitted that on the internet.
Nah, I've already admitted that.
Yeah, I hate X2. X2 was so bad to me that when me and my friend Justin check out his blog, the Resident Movie Lover, I don't actually know the address, so just search it. It's on Blogspot or Blogger or whatever the hell. So anyway, yeah, we were at his house and we rented X2 because we both liked X, and we played it and we were just like, basically like, what is this bullshit?
Mm-hmm.
And we hated it so much that to restore my faith in Final Fantasy X, I actually went down to the store and bought Final Fantasy X so I could just play it.
Okay. To be honest, I've never completed the game, and we've owned it since like day one. I own it. I own the strategy guide and the discs, and I've just like the CDs, and I've just never beaten the game. I've seen the ending. I've talked about the ending.
I like Final Fantasy X. I used to kind of be a little harder on it in the sense that I didn't think it ranked up there with the best Final Fantasies. But when I think about it, I had a lot of fun with it. Some of the characters are shitty, but some of the characters are shitty in a lot of Final Fantasies. But what I do like the most, well, there's two things I really like about Final Fantasy X. I like the Spear Grid, which is one of my favorite leveling up systems pretty much of all time, which is why I was happy Path of Exile went with something like that. And I actually think the battle system is one of my favorites of the Final Fantasies because it's turn-based, but it's quick, and it's, I don't know, it's just...
To refresh my memory, enemies don't attack you after a while, do they? In X2...
Yeah, they attack you.
No, but I mean in X2, if you don't attack for a period of time, they'll attack you.
No, I don't think they do in this one. I think it's...
That's
I think
better.
Well, there might be a... No, I don't think so. Because it shows you who's going to attack next.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. I haven't played that game in so long, but I don't think so.
I see, like, I'm about to go back to the one point. Final Fantasy X was amazing for its music. That is why I bought the CDs, because Nobuo... I'm going to butcher the name. It's not even bothered to say it, but he was brilliant.
Tears Anarchin ranks amongst one of the best Final Fantasy songs of all time. It's not my personal favorite, but it's like top 10.
Its battle theme to me is like my favorite. And another one alongside that would be Final Fantasy VII's.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII also has some of the best, arguably the best music of the series, but I also like 8 and 6. One's classic, but anyway, you got anything else to say about this?
No, I'm just very excited because it may be a reason I may have to get the system it's for.
It's a good game.
And like I actually saw some of the screenshots and such, and I think they added in one extra like voice clip of Titus in the beginning talking about. No, I think it's in the beginning of X2 or something, where he talks about how long it's been since like the whole adventure. It's nice to hear Titus again.
There you go.
Well, worth buying.
I hope you enjoy it if you end up getting
probably
it.
like $39.99, I bet you, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Graphics are perfect. I already saw the screenshots. They looked really nice. But I mean, the game's like cinematics looked really nice anyways.
My PS3 broke, so I probably won't be playing it. But anyway.
It's in our memories.
But I've already done my time with it. So, the next matter is Suda 51, the developer of such games as No More Heroes, Shadows of the Damned, Lollipop Chainsaw, and most recently Killer is Dead. And then there was Killer 7 earlier and stuff. A whole bunch of games that are controversial amongst people.
Did you make Killer Instinct?
No. But I can see why you say that, but no, he didn't. He recently said that it's the games that matter and not the platform. Which is something that really shouldn't even be news. Mm-hmm. Because, duh. And that's not criticizing Suda. Because I love that man. Like, I defend him and most of his games. But it's just a commentary on how stupid gamers are with their console wars. Like, don't get me wrong, I have my preferences.
But to me, they're all the same.
But if, like, yeah, I'm not gonna like a game more because it's on, like, PlayStation 4. Like, whatever. I just think console wars are dumb. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
You're gaming, you're not platforming.
Damn.
Unless you're playing Mario.
Unless you're playing a platformer. So, yeah, Suda51, props to ya.
He's a smart gentleman. I read through that whole article. Talking about how we need to give props to indie developers.
Oh, yeah, that too. I forgot he said that.
How we shouldn't just be going to AAA titles.
And he's right.
And he says, like that whole thought that indie games have to be bad.
That whole thought should be debunked by now, because there was a time where maybe indie games were seen as that, but indie games have made such an impact over the last few years.
Cough, Minecraft.
Cough, Minecraft. But they made such an impact over the years that I don't really think that for most gamers, they don't think indie games automatically mean crap. Mm-hmm. But then again, I don't know most gamers because, yeah. So we moving on. Mm-hmm. There's a new official Apple controller for the iPhone.
Is it only iPhone? Is
I can't remember.
It's not really awkward.
It's for one of them. I think it's just for iPhone. Well, it's for Apple products. I don't know if it's for the iPad or not.
There were already, I think, third-party ones, but this will be nice. I mean, it'll probably be overpriced, and to be honest, it probably won't be that durable, because from Apple products, this is kind of weird to talk about in a gaming thing, but they're not the most durable. Like, their headphones break in, under a month. But that'll be fun. Some of those shooters that, you have to use the touchpad for crazy, especially if you have a phone like mine where the touchpad is super sensitive to everything and you can't use it.
Yeah.
Make gaming more fun.
I don't do a lot of mobile gaming. I do some though. It's not that I'm against it because I have an iPhone. Not for any real reason. I just admitted that on the internet. Now the people that don't like Apple are gonna hate on me. I don't care. But anyway. Because a lot of the games, when you get a game like Sword and Sorcery, that's cool because it's just touchscreen adventure game and that works well because touchscreens are fine for adventure games and whatnot. But then you get
Black Ops,
Gunman Clive is an example I could think of. It's a decent game by all accounts, except on the iPhone because the touchscreen just ruins the game for me. So, basically what I'm trying to say is, if we can get a good controller for phones that rely on touchscreens, that's only a good thing. That's only a positive, because that's what holds mobile gaming back for a lot of people.
See, I would have wished this would have been out, when was the iPod Gen 2 out? 3 years ago or something when I got my iPod and the App Store had Duke Nukem for free on, because you have like this much, and like most of it is taken up by the touchpad, so you can barely see the screen. That would have been so nice then.
The controller looks like ass, but you know what?
What is it?
I've never actually held it, so I don't know how it's really
Is it
like.
Double. What is it like?
It just looks stupid. It just looks dumb. But like I said, a controller.
Have they stated any apps that it's not able to be on? Like I'm wondering if you, because you know Apple, if you can, on like the App Store, you can buy like VBA and C-SNES, I think, like emulators.
C-SNES, SNES.
No, Z-SNES.
Oh yeah, Z. We just say SNES.
But yeah, did it say if it would be like compatible for things like that? Because playing ROMs would be much nicer with the controller then.
I don't know. I don't know that much.
Touchscreen ROMs are horrible.
Yep. Touchscreen, most games are horrible. That's my point I'm trying to make. That's what holds mobile gaming back for me. That's what makes me go, oh, that game could be fun. Oh, but it's touchscreen. I'm not going to bother playing it. Because 3/4 of the time the controls are shit. There are a couple platformers and stuff like Sword to Go I've played that it works, sort of.
Like,
but I'd still prefer controller any day.
Those like adventure cartoon like stickman things are fine for like touchscreen, but shooters get really annoying. Because
Yeah. So moving on to the classic series, Super Mario has returned a couple days ago with Super Mario 3D World, and I got it launch day, and I've only played it a few times. I'm on like World 4 or whatever, and a review on Gamesepticon is coming, in probably a few days or so, but we'll briefly talk about what we've experienced with it because it's Mario and it deserves to be talked about. So what do you think, first of all?
Alright, so I think I played around 20 minutes of it with him. It was, I don't know, like I could say it was probably so far my favorite of the normal Mario series outside Sunshine. Because I have to admit, when I played Mario Wii and the DS, well the DS one was kind of fun, but the Mario Wii one felt just like the DS one and it bored me after the first few levels because it was like the same levels I've played, but this one seemed to change a bunch of things. The 3D aspect got really like cool with like the different level designs we haven't seen in Mario before and the power-ups. I believe like things like the cat suit have never been in it, right?
No, I don't think the cat suit, but like all Mario, there's tons of references to its past and tons of power-ups and music and stuff that recall the past.
Oh, and the music.
The music is awesome.
Perfect.
The music is awesome.
Still sounds like the classic, but then it has some like updated tracks, and I think they used some, like he said, shoutouts to the classics. Like I'm pretty sure a few of the levels used samples from Sunshine. I'm almost positive about that.
They always throw people a bone in Mario. That's what Mario's all about. People criticize it for never moving on and stuff, but this is... I've ranted about this. Mario's still almost always fun, and I actually think this is the best Mario I've played in a while. Mind you, I never actually got a chance to play stuff like Galaxy. But, it's another Mario that's meant to be played with multiple people, I think, because it was a lot of fun when I played by myself, but then once I threw you into the mix and started playing with another person,
It got hectic.
Yeah, it got hectic. So, and yeah, you said there's different types of levels, and they do a good job of switching the game up on us and adding some interesting things. Whether it's a Captain Toad thing or whatever, to keep us interested. It's a really well done Mario game, and it's one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, I can't believe someone... Did you actually see anyone say that it like wasn't much of a revolution for Mario? Because playing that short of time, I can tell that compared to other Marios I've played, like most other Marios, they may be able to change a power up or something, or like worlds will be a bit different, but it's usually just the exact same things. None of the blocks are different. The worlds are generally just straightforward, but this one had like crazy different like blocks that did things and weird
It was good. It was well made.
Yeah.
On all fronts. It was very well made.
It was. I don't know how many other ones you could pick or I guess you couldn't pick,
Yeah,
but you could randomize your character like that.
You can pick, I think, on a lot of them now. I don't know. I don't play Mario's religiously.
And there's a fifth character, if you didn't know.
I didn't know that.
And once you beat the game, you unlock the Princess from Galaxy.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's. I don't know. I can't give hate. Sometimes I'll give hate on like the Wii version or something, but I can't give hate in this game.
Sorry.
I was in love when I played it. The art style, well, I guess it's kind of the same, but the graphics looked nice, really nice. Yeah. Like you said, the music was great. Like the Booze House music sounded pretty like serious. Like it didn't sound like the classic silly Mario music. It got pretty serious there.
I think all kids should play Mario.
They threw in
that out there.
Like you could run around the world map, and they threw in like different types of like the mini games and like the Captain Toad. They threw in like mini games like that just kind of took away for a bit, and they were just something we haven't seen
that we know of. I'm throwing that out there that like I said, I don't religiously play Mario anymore, so some of these things that we're saying is new may not actually be new. But I stand by my comment that it's an awesome game so far. And
go out and buy it.
Go out and buy it. Support that Wii U.
If you want to have a good game for the Wii U, you know how everyone's trash on it
for the family.
For not having good games, there is a perfect game.
Yeah. So I don't... Speaking of good games, but not nearly as classic as Mario, the Alan Wake developer apparently has a new exclusive coming to Xbox One. Now, as far as I know... Well, excuse me. I don't think there's too much info on it, but I feel like it's news because I think we're gonna crap on Xbox One a little bit in this video, but we don't hate it by any means. Yeah, you will. But anyway.
Oh.
But I do want to throw positive news for the Xbox One, even though on the Gamely and GameStop.com has more of a PS4/Wii U slant, but that's only because I don't own an Xbox One yet. I'm sure in like a year from now or something I'll own one, but I just don't have the money to have it. So, but I am throwing out that's really good news for the Xbox One, because Alan Wake was an awesome game, story driven, legit psychological horror, and I don't even know what the game's gonna be. But I'm excited for it because I really like Alan Wake. Mm-hmm. You got anything? That one's all me.
Yeah, some of these, like a bunch of these, some of the things that didn't even make this list, I've never really played the games. I'm kind of a failure of a gamer. Like I've played the more popular like Mega Mans, but to be honest, I don't know half these series. I know Alan Wake, and I know some of these. But
it's okay. I'll forgive you. Okay, now we're going to move on to a little section I'm dubbing the crap on EA section. It's so overdone, and I don't really like to crap on EA because everyone does, but they made some news.
Before we crap, I will tell them they have some okay sports games.
No, they have published and developed some great games.
Oh yeah, Battlefield.
Like I'm not saying that EA has never done anything. It's just there's a reason why. Strangely enough, they were voted like the worst company in America or whatever, like 2 or 3 years in a row. Which is funny to me because there's companies that are probably doing much worse. But that's gamers for you. But yeah, this is the crap on EA section, I guess. So let's just throw down a little bit of this news here. Well, this is DICE, but since they're either owned by EA or whatever,
or they're just like affiliated with them.
Yeah, DICE acknowledges Battlefield 4. Turbulence.
A little late.
Turbulence is what we're calling it? I mean, I don't even have Battlefield 4, and that's why. Because I've never heard of anybody that I talk to on a regular basis being able to play the game.
Yeah, that's like the thing. How long has Battlefield been out now?
Like a month.
And people have barely been able to play it. That's an expensive game.
And there's already DLC for it.
They threw $60 out at that. They probably bought the DLC, so they've spent like almost $100, and they haven't been able to play the game. At least not online.
EA says used games are important to the industry, which kind of goes against you know what EA has been doing forever. Not
One
forever,
specific example is that like a time I went to play Battlefield 3, getting all excited, like, oh, this game looks awesome. Couldn't play it because you have to play it on the same console and the exact same gamer tag, or gamer account, or Xbox Live account. And if you don't, you have to pay, I forget what it was. It was like 800 points to play and stuff. And I'm like, who would spend extra money on a $60 game already?
Yeah. So they're kind of... So that was kind of a funny thing. And then EA said that they were going to improve the messy NBA Live 14. No, I've never actually played NBA Live 14, but I can't imagine an EA game being messy.
No.
Like, he kind of wanted to talk about this, but I'll segue into it by saying, speaking of messy, what about SimCity?
Now, SimCity is a game, I can see that there's both hate and love. Like, there's lots of bugs you can talk about. Just a major one I can think of at the top of my head is the fact that traffic doesn't seem to reroute themselves. They just seem to go on one street and clog up, and there's all kinds of problems.
That's another game that had an awful online release, so much so that they offered like a free game or whatever to anybody who bought SimCity.
Can't crap on it. It's SimCity. SimCity's fun, and to me, it still looks like a fun game.
Yeah, but you know, they kind of crapped on SimCity themselves a little bit. But
I'm hoping that the cities of the future possibly fix some bugs, most, which is most of the game. But
yeah, screw EA.
Can't completely hate. It's a different game than what most of the popular games are. At least they tried something different. It's just a shooter.
Well, at least it's not a shooter, but if you can't play your game...
True.
But then I remember they were saying that, no, there's no way we can make this an offline game. But then, like, a while later, I don't know if they actually went and did it, or there was a report that I think you can download a patch for it that gives you offline play.
Which, I don't understand how it couldn't be offline.
Because
it's a single-player game.
Because if they keep it on the line always, then that's less of a chance of crackers being able to crack the game. It's a way for them to control their game. Which you can't hate on a company for trying to control their game so much, but nobody likes this online-only bullshit.
Yeah, that's an awful touch.
That's a terrible route that games are going.
And see, they did slight things that just ruined it completely. Could have been an amazing game.
So here we go. Moving on. I'm going to leave the Xbox One conversation till the end. We got a whole bunch of Persona games coming. There's like a 3DS one that looks kind of weird. Then there's the big news, I guess, is Persona 5 has been announced for PS3, which kind of annoys me. I really, really wish it would have been PS4. But that's big news regardless, because I know fans of the series have wanted those for years. Mind you, I'm not a fan of the series because I've never actually gotten a chance to really play Persona. But I was going to play Persona 5, but now I might not be able to. So, I do like what Persona kind of does. It's an interesting RPG, so I'm excited for it. I just hope I get to play Persona 5. I know you've never played any. So.
I just know that it's an RPG.
Just we're throwing it out there in case you don't know, because it's big news. You know, I mean, it's a cult game mostly, but it's still big news because Persona gets a lot of respect within the RPG community. So there's a whole bunch coming. There's like a fighting game or something for Vita, and I think there's another fighting game for PS3 coming. I did play the fighting game of Persona, but anyway. Okay, so let's move on to Xbox One to close this out. First, let's start with the positive. Another positive. Sunset Drive is as far as I know, it's an Xbox One exclusive made by the wonderful Insomniac Games, and that launches in 2014. And it looks to be one of those games that makes me go, I wish I had an Xbox One. That, like, Titanfall.
That's weird that they picked Xbox, because, they went riding with PlayStation so long, and even the trailer, like and it's sad because I'm gonna say that parts of that game, like thing, just reminded me again of Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, well,
Like there were parts that didn't. I can't hate on that because the game itself looked really fun and silly.
it looks just fun. It kind of like Mirror's Edge with monster zombie creature things and just more silly because it's got that parkour platforming going on and whatnot. It just looks like a super fun game that is a reason now on the Xbox One.
Besides Halo.
Screw Halo. No, I'm just joking. But now, let's end this with a general conversation about...
one more good thing.
What?
Congrats to them on all their sales. They got over 1 million. They matched closely.
I didn't even... I was segueing into that.
Well, they matched closely to the PS4s. They broke 360's sales in 24 hours.
Are you done?
Yes.
No, yeah, congrats. And congrats to everybody who has the Xbox One. I'm mildly jealous. I've talked about this in videos, my annoyance with Microsoft concerning their original announcements for Xbox One that I've kind of had a hard time getting past. But at the same time, I know it's going to be a wonderful video game system over the next 8 years, and there's going to be some exclusives that are amazing, and they'll fine-tune the system and make things better, and it's a blah, 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 blah. So with that said, here are some problems that Microsoft are having with their new system. I only wrote down Xbox One problems. So you throw down on this.
There was a problem where when you insert a disc, it has a grinding sound, which I think the 360 had a similar problem, except when it did it, it actually scratched the disc because, it had a physical disc tray, which I'm glad they finally got out of that because that is an awful thing, but
yep.
It didn't actually scratch the disc, it just was unable to read. It told you insert an actual Xbox One disc or a Blu-ray disc or a CD or something. That was one thing, but then there's another one which is a complete hardware failure. I think those are the two major problems they said. They're saying that Xbox itself has said, and IGN people said, right now they're not looking at anything that's like the size of the Red Ring.
Yeah.
Because they're just two small things.
Yeah.
But Microsoft came out and stated, at least they stated it, that if you have the problem, actually send it to Amazon. They'll get yours for free. But if you have a total hardware failure, then you can actually get it fixed. I'm like, that's good. Hopefully it doesn't cost people a lot.
Yeah,
because that's crappy to get your new system that you've waited for a while, play those new games, and have it break.
Yeah. And before I go on, I'm aware PS4 had problems. I'm a PS4 owner. I was scared when the reports started coming out of failures. But you know what? This is to be expected from systems these days. So I'm not hating on Microsoft here, but it makes me laugh. Oh, not that they're breaking, because I hate the idea of anybody's system breaking. Don't get me wrong. That makes me sad because I know how excited I was for the PS4 and the Wii U, and how excited I'll be for the Xbox One when I finally buy it and I bring it home and I'm like, woo, new system. But it is kind of humorous in a sense that, if you went on any game site, when the PS4 was launching and there was reports of all these problems, and you had all these Xbox lovers who were just crapping all over Sony, laughing at the people playing their expensive bricks and stuff. And now Microsoft comes out with a system that is problematic in some ways. And another funny thing is that people are acting surprised. Their new systems, they do this.
Plus, they tried to rush them before Christmas.
Yeah, so, like I said, it's not funny that it's happening. It's just kind of like a karma thing for... I don't know what I'm trying...
So I think both sides got karma, because
they both got shit.
I had, friends that would always... or knew people
Sony
that were always like, oh, look, your Xbox breaks, my PlayStation's invincible, and then suddenly all these problems come up, and they both got karma, just that they released them, really. Tried to, push them. The same with the 360. Like,
Well, I would have switched my comments had the Xbox come out before the PlayStation and the Sony fanboys were crapping all over Microsoft, then I would have worded it differently. I would have, but it sucks. It sucks, but there you go. There's no system is perfect, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Did any of the Sony statements actually? Did any of the Sony people actually state that you could send it back?
Yeah.
I was gonna say I never saw.
It's under warranty.
I didn't, and yeah,
for a year. Another thing that's kind of funny to think about is, like, when reviews came out for all the PS4 exclusives, you had some that got high, like Resogun. Killzone kind of got not an average rating by any chance, because it's not like 5 or 6, but it didn't get like the 9s and stuff that people were hoping for. Then you had games like Knack, which weren't getting great reviews from most major websites. Stuff like that. You had these games that weren't living up to the hype. So again, everybody was like, Sony's a failure, the PS4 is a failure. So now the Xbox One comes out, and reviews are pretty similar. You have and I've never played any of these, I'm just going by what I have gathered. You have Rise,
6.
which is supposed to be this incredible exclusive, and it's not getting good reviews. I saw as low as a 4, which is kind of like Knack, the recognition reviews it's getting. Then you have Dead Rising 3, which was probably supposed to be. Well, no, I'm not gonna say the killer app,
but no, I think it is because they milked it the most.
They did milk that the most.
When Microsoft set up their huge Xbox containers around I don't know if it was all around North America and people came out. What happened was zombies would run out and a dude was hurting them. They were pretend fighting, and they milked Dead Rising the most for all the launch things.
Yeah, and again it got good reviews, but it didn't get great reviews. So it's very much like my beloved Killzone Shadowfall, which I actually feel should get much better reviews. But I got a Killzone review coming probably in a few days. So they had Dead Rising, and the best game, from according to reviews, from what I can gather, and I could always be wrong, is Forza, which was getting, as far as I know, good reviews across the board, and that's kind of like Resogun, which also got amazing reviews across the board. So it's funny to me how similar their launches are. You know what I mean? They got very similar scores.
Yeah, to be honest,
they're big games.
I looked at some of the big games. They're getting pretty low. I'm they kind of both flopped a little with them. And and the fact that they milked Dead Rising to me wasn't their best idea. They probably should have went with Forza or even Rise. Yeah. Because I wasn't expecting Dead Rising to be amazing.
Yeah, but Dead Rising was apparently better than Rise. Both systems have their failures, and it's bound to happen. Games are going to flop. Well, go ahead.
Should have been like the 360 and milked Hexic.
But you know what? A new system's a new system. The first wave of games are not always the best. There's some that I think are actually better. Like I said, I think Killzone's a lot better, and than the reviews it's getting. But Dead Rising is probably, probably a little more fun than the reviews it's getting. This is what happens. Everything gets hyped up so much because it's a new system and blah, blah, blah. But bad games or average games are always going to be made regardless, of what system it is. And was there anything else we want to talk about Microsoft?
No. For now, I think I personally prefer the PlayStation launch titles. Forza doesn't interest me. Rise, Dead Rising, just I guess it shouldn't really go into too far of a review, but Knack seemed like actually better than most of the Xbox things.
Well, you managed to work a knack in there.
I mean, knack probably only because it feels like Ratchet and Clank to me. And that's probably the only reason I think it's really good, but I just think that PlayStation had a better, like they had Killzone. I don't know, were there any shooters that actually launched besides like Ghosts?
Yeah, but that's multi-platform. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I think so. Really, Xbox didn't really have any exclusive launch shooters.
But at the same time, Sony didn't really have much in the way of racing games.
Yeah.
Because their big racing game was delayed. And I can't remember if it was like one of the first times ever that a system launched without a racing game or something like that. I don't know what the stat was, but there's a lot of racing games. And personally, I was more interested in the PlayStation launch as well. And I hate talking like this because I'm coming off like such a Sony fanboy. But Killzone is my jam, and I've said this probably in both, we've had 2 other videos. I've said it in both, I'm sure. So I was super pumped for Killzone. Resogun looked like a lot of fun, and that lived up to the hype. I was interested in Contrast, but I know that's also for PC.
Blacklight.
Yeah, whatever. Knack, I wasn't excited for a review of it on Gamesepticon. But anyway, it wasn't a game I was real excited for. And I didn't give it a great review, and I stand by it. But I think I gave it like a 5.5. And that doesn't even mean it's a terrible game. That just means it's kind of average. But those games look more appealing to me than Dead Rising, Forza, and Rise.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Rise probably is pretty fun. Forza as a racing game, certain racing games are fun, certain aren't. It probably was pretty solid.
Oh, I'm sure it was great.
And Dead Rising, it's nothing major, like, that's exciting, but it's just kind of fun to walk through, like, a mall dressed as a little boy on a tricycle killing things.
Well, Dead Rising is one of them series to me that they would be fun, but I just don't... I wouldn't launch a system on it. You know, like, it just seems so... I don't know. But then again, I'm a Killzone fanboy, and there aren't many people playing Killzone at a time, I've noticed. But, congrats to both. But since it's Microsoft's weekend, congrats on a mostly successful launch, and I'm sure you will do great things.
I mean, it launched in a pretty busy weekend itself.
Yeah.
Think of all the things that happened this weekend. Yeah, congrats to all 3 systems.
Yeah, congrats to Wii U. We didn't really have any Nintendo talk inside of Mario.
But that to me puts it above most of the games for the 2 new systems right now.
Well, their shares went up a whole bunch with the release of Mario, but nobody's surprised by that. That's what people are waiting for, the big games, and when they come, the Wii U will sell better.
And you know, congrats to PS3, PS4. Oh, congrats to PS3 too.
Congrats
Still going.
to the Nintendo 64, the Atari
2600.
Congrats to the NES, congrats to the Dreamcast, congrats to the Sega Saturn,
ColecoVision,
congrats to the Game Gear, congrats to all video games, even the systems, even the Jaguar, congrats.
Hey, congrats to PC and Mac fans. And I guess if you play games on your Linux too.
No, we'd never talk PC games on the game.
Or Mac or Linux. But Linux would be a very boring topic.
Dude, I just don't see much news about PC games and stuff on the sites I go to. Maybe I should actually start looking at like PC gaming websites. But anyway,
Steam probably has a sale right now. There's news.
Yeah, Steam probably has a sale.
I'm going to guess that if it doesn't, then there's individual sales. I bet the Valve collection, every game's on sale. I bet Gary's Mod's like 90% off, like it is every weekend. I bet Half-Life's 50% off.
And Steam probably has a sale. Half-Life 3 still hasn't been made. Is
it even confirmed?
Let's not even open that up. Now people are gonna make Half-Life 3 confirmed jokes. Yeah. So this is a long outro, I guess, but Basically, what we're trying to say is video games are awesome, and you should get all systems if you have the money.
You should never favor a system.
No, you can have your preference.
But
Have your preference,
But try
but
all.
realize that all the systems are good except for the Ouya.
Don't be like,
Ooh.
and all games are good
All games are crazy.
except Wolfenstein. No, but never be that type of person. Like those. Well, what are they? The PS3 fans I see in every forum that their only argument why the Xbox sucks is because you have to pay for connection.
Yeah.
And don't be like them. Be like us.
Just like games.
Yeah.
It's more fun when you like all games. Well, not all games, but
And listen to their soundtracks outside.
listen to their soundtracks.
That's when I'm walking. I listen to Perfect Dark.
We're just going on and on here. We gotta close this bad boy out. So thank you for watching another long episode of On the Gamely, a weekly video game show hosted by two guys who no one knows, who just sit here and talk about video games.
In a basement.
In a basement.
with like an outside.
With a little table and a drink.
Can't show the labels though.
I don't want to give them free advertising. They're not paying us. Yes, so thank you for watching. I'm Tyler.
I'm Jacob.
And we will see you later.
Such video.
Shut up. I hate you. Bye.